Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica here with the great
Summer Huntington
of FlowShala, and today we are going to be talking about a standing mace overhead press. The standing mace overhead press is a movement that is often taught in steel mace vinyasa, and we are going to talk about it because we find that this is a primary athletic skill that we cross over in. When I teach staff and she teaches steel mace, this is the exact same idea taught in two different ways. As an athlete, you should always be looking for what is common between systems of coaching. The way that I coach and the way that she coaches crosses over in this one very specific way. I think that we should probably make this like 3 videos because we should cover standing, the basic version. We should probably do Warrior 1 closed hip version and then Warrior 2 open hip version. We are going to do it in this order because we're going to isolate out the arms from standing position, which is how we would teach it to people in real life. Then we are going to do closed hip because this is stepping forward and stepping back in every system of martial arts on the planet. And then we should convert it into Warrior 2 because you go through Warrior 2 when you're turning around to face attackers behind you. Summer is an expert on Warrior 1 and Warrior 2. She's probably the best coach I've ever seen for coaching how to create torque and movement from this as a static position first to integrate it into more complex athletic skills later. So I'm gonna shut up and stop talking, and she's gonna start talking about the mace exercise itself.
Grab the mace. Start with your mace in an order position, stacking the globe directly over the handle and generate torque. Imagine wringing the mace apart while driving the shoulders down. Notice we have 2 different variations for order. You can be here with elbows tracking in order position, or in steel mace vinyasa, where we're commonly having a lighter loaded mace, you can be here with shoulders packed. This just inspires us to get the shoulders into a more neutral position so we can open up the scapula and open up shoulder flexion. From here, take the mace into reverse guard position. See that your forearm is actually below your chin and not blocking out your face. Find a little torque, so wring out the mace, and then begin to press your mace up into horizontal overhead position. Power breath at the top. Check to see that your glutes are on. You're imagining bending your mace in half, and then crush your mace as you arrive back at the landmark. Take it slow, maximize your time under tension here. Got knees straight, glutes firing, rip, 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 rip. As I arrive at my landmark, I crush and imagine bending the mace. Common misalignment here is to passively go into it with no glute activation and just bone stacking. Notice the difference between the non-active, no torque variation and full glute activation with heel drive, full crown to coccyx alignment, coming into a loaded hollow body position. So when you arrive in hollow body, you should be here with mace directly overhead versus overly arched or any break in any of those joints here. We're aiming to have the ribs corseted in nice and tight and connecting the lats, the deep inner core, and the glutes together. Then come to order, take a brief moment of rest, and switch sides. Find your landmark, your reverse guard position. Common misalignment is this elbow hanging out in space. A lot of times people put it here or back here. Marry the elbow to the oblique. This fires the deep inner core and signals for that muscle to actually turn on and stabilize. Crush the mace. Rip as you travel towards the landmark. Crush as you arrive. Power breath. You can breathe out in both directions. And or just in one direction. And inhale on the way down. From the side, see that the arm is at 90 degrees. You've got a little bit of leverage with your mace, and your wrists are in a neutral position versus here in a passive position or overly extended. You want to have equal load in both hands and train the wrists to have full grip conformation, shoulder pack, and crown to coccyx alignment. The point of the power breath is to increase intra-abdominal pressure, which essentially fires your core without thinking. If you're deconditioned or just starting out, you do it twice. You breathe out on the upward phase and the downward phase. As you progress in your athleticism, you can breathe out just on concentric, just on the upward phase.
Will you please tell us the point of having your hands at the bottom of the mace and at the middle of the mace instead of having your hands wide?
The point of using that hand position is to create an awareness of torque. So by having that off-centered load, your deep inner core, obliques on either side, your glutes, everything that's holding you stable and connected to the ground is forced to keep you more upright and keep you more balanced. This in turn will develop greater athleticism because you have that off-centered load. If I was to hold my hand, one hand by the handle, one hand by the globe, I'm not developing that same off-centered center of gravity that develops my athleticism.
So think about it like this. When you think about barbell training, you have equal amounts of load on both sides of the bar and you can lift the maximum amount of weight because it's symmetrically loaded. When we are doing something like this with steel mace, we are moving from a plane of movement that a barbell can't move through to an overhead movement. We have that big lever on one side to allow us just to feel anti-rotation, as I often think about it. The same way that when you hold a kettlebell in one side of your body, you put weight on one side of your body, you inspire the muscles on the opposite side in order to contract harder. This leads us to become more stable when we get hit or we take load or when we change direction. All of these are totally valid ways to organize your training in order to develop more athleticism. The more of these types of drills you do, usually the better overall you get. The more sports you play, the faster you learn. The more types of weights you learn to lift and swing, same idea. You will start to learn faster and you will be able to transition into new skills faster.